Hey, what's going on, everybody? Isaac here. And you can see on the table, I got a couple of knives here with me. We're going to do a comparison video of, looks and feel and weight, not a chopping contest or anything between these two 21st century classic knives from Gerber. We've got the Strongarm up here and the LMF2 down here. So the Strongarm in black, LMF2 in green. So the first one that was released, I'm not sure the exact year, but it's been around for a while now, the LMF2. Then I think around 2015 or so, they came out with the Strongarm. So this is we'll say the daddy and the grandkid. Now, let's take a look at the sheaths, since they are what's here on the table. So LMF2, we got this like nylon, glass reinforced nylon sheath with a nylon webbed backing. We've got a nice wide belt loop here, so it can fit on military web gear belts that are usually like, I don't know, two, maybe even 3 inches wide. So we got that. And of course we got these straps here, if you want to slip it in through some moly webbing. This also comes with leg straps. Don't have them here on the table because, we can't have too much clutter. It's a small spot. So if you want to strap this down onto your calf, it comes with straps to be able to do that. And they have buckles. Now they're not wide enough to fit around your thigh. It has to go around your calf, unless you got really scrawny thighs. Now, what's unique about this sheath? Well, it has Velcro strappings here. That's how you get the sheath to detach. It has a built-in sharpener here, the carbide sharpener. You can get a quick working edge on your blade here, if so needed. So pretty nice setup here, and you got these retention straps up here for extra security. I don't think you really need them because the sheath locks the knife in very well. Now, the Strongarm, it's got some other, some plastic sheath. I do think the sheath material it just has a nicer, higher quality feel on the LMF2 than the Strongarm. This also has web belt loop. Should be able, it's not as wide as the LMF2, but I do still believe you can get that military web belt through there. And also has this retention strap, which also don't think is 100% necessary because the sheath locks in very well. Now, what sets the Strongarm apart, and I will put these on the table because they take up less space than the LMF2 counterparts. This has this item here, which is meant to attach this knife into your moly webbing, and this to clip onto the back so you can put your belt through here and scout carry this knife. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the knives themselves out of the sheath. So this one locks in real tight. We'll put that there and put the sheath over here. And this one comes out a little easier. You got this thumb ramp right there, and it pops right on out. So we have some overall lengths here, according to the Gerber website, of 9.8 inches on the Strongarm and 10.59 inches on the LMF2. So about an inch difference in overall length. The blade length is, I believe, pretty identical. I think they both run around 4.8 inches in blade length. So both, you get the same amount of blade length for whatever you want to use. They both have the same blade steel of 420 HC that Gerber likes to use in their USA made fixed blade knives. It is what some would consider a low end steel, but companies like Gerber and Buck use it pretty extensively and seem to heat treat it well for the intended purposes. Buck heat treats theirs to hold an edge. Gerber heat treats theirs for extra toughness. So let's go into some more detail. You may be able to tell the LMF2 has a wider blade, even though they're the same blade length. This one is wider. LMF2 also has partial serrations. This is a plain edge, but it is available in partial serrations. The LMF2 is only available with the partial serrations. Now this one has a very specific intended purpose. This was designed for aircrew to be able to cut through, like let's say an Apache helicopter fuselage if their ship goes down and they need to cut out. Now this is not a full tang knife. The tang is partial, goes down to probably about here, and then breaks off to another tang that holds in this pommel. There is a separation there with this rubberized handle in case some of those downed people in the chopper hit a wire when they're cutting through the fuselage to escape a wreck. And that is supposed to not cause an electric shock because of that separation in the steel. I'm not going to test that out. Nope, not for me, but I will take Gerber's word for it. Now this handle is very comfortable, very wide, nice wide handle. We got a bit of a Coke bottle shape here, and we got like a glass, I think it's like a glass reinforced nylon handle with this rubber overmold, and it has this really awesome pommel. Get this striking point here on the end for whatever damage you want to do. Supposed to, down chopper, break through that plexiglass at the front if you're the pilot, or if you need to use this, in a crashed vehicle to break a window, it would be great for doing that. Now this side right here, you'll see is completely flat. That is meant to be used as a hammer for whatever you may need. Now, Gerber does advertise this as a survival knife. It has these extra holes up here, which the intended use is to lash that to a stick to use this knife as a spear. Now, for me personally, if this was my survival knife and my tool in a wilderness survival situation, I would not lash this as a spear to like spear fish or anything like that, because you're just going to damage your knife, because you're not going to just hit that fish. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. You're going to hit rocks in the water. But if you want to hunt larger game with a spear, say you're in an area where there's wild pigs, one of those mean bastards might charge at you, and this lashed on the end of a stick could be a viable weapon for that. Or, if you're out of bullets in the war zone, you can lash this to a stick or pole and have yourself some close quarters combat with a spear instead of just your knife. So And again, this is a very comfortable grip. Really like it a lot. Okay, now to the LMF2. Also a very nice grip. It is much thinner in hand. Also got that Coke bottle type shape. And this diamond texture rubber stippling. So like, you know, they're very alike in that it's a rubber coated GRN handle. Now this has the tang running all the way through to this striking pommel here at the end. So this is glass breaker or skull breaker, whatever you want to call it. Not as versatile like as this larger pommel on the LMF2 with the hammer and all that, but they really tout this as a tactical knife, not necessarily a pilot survival knife. You'll also notice the guard on this is much smaller. So if you are wanting to stab and penetrate, you may prefer the LMF2. But this is a fine knife that gives a secure grip and enough guard to work. And put your thumb up here if you want to do more fine cutting tasks. Let's look at the thickness of the blade stock. It's identical. It's identical to me. No difference there. I don't notice any difference at all. I'd say a solid 3/16 of an inch thick. So you'll see a ton of videos on YouTube about these knives individually. Not sure how many are there like this where you really get a good look at both of them. They both serve their purpose. You know, this one, you know, there's huge differences in opinion on serrations. It depends on what you're going to use the knife for. This LMF2, it's not a bushcraft knife. It's just not. They didn't design it for that. Can you do stuff with it? Of course you can. It's meant to be, you know, a pilot survival knife. This, as far as I know, this was actually issued to United States military. YouTuber Donnie B All Day, one of his videos from the early days of his channel, he showed this knife. He had the Coyote Brown colored one. He said this is his issue knife from his time in the military. This one, I have not heard anything about this being issued. I'm sure many military personnel have purchased this knife since it was introduced. And many civilians as well, as these knives are readily available. You can get these at any Cabela's, Bass Pro, even Dick's Sporting Goods sells this. You can get this one at Cabela's, Bass Pro as well. I have not seen this at Dick's Sporting Goods. Both available pretty much anywhere knives are sold online. And I'm sure Gerber has sold millions of both of these knives. So both very popular, both known to be pretty tough, especially the Strongarm, you know, with the tang running all the way through. This one, I'm sure, you know, it has the same types of weaknesses any partial tang knife. But with the weight of this, if you know, grip it back here in the OK sign type of grip, I'm sure this can do some chopping. And you can hammer in your tent stakes if you take this camping. I have no worries. You know, if this was my survival knife, I could split kindling with this, no problem. Same with this. If you work with a lot of cordage or rope, you might want this. Use those serrations for extra cutting. As far as grip goes, I mean, they both feel great. I think Even though my hands aren't very large, I do prefer a larger grip. Feel like I don't have to grip as tight. So you do get, you might, I guess it's pretty much the same amount of space, I would say. But, you know, you get a wider handle in the LMF too. So if you don't want to, you know, grip as tight, you can have a looser grip on that due to the bigger handle. But both of these are fine, reliable knives from Gerber that you can't really go wrong with the purchase of either. So, hope you enjoyed this video, a little comparison of these two knives, and have a fantastic day.